Hello, good morning to all. I am Khaja Asifullah, lecturer in chemistry from Government Degree College, Falaknuma, Hyderabad. Today, I present a video lesson on chemical kinetics. This is the third lesson or part 3. Today, we will first discuss about the differences between the rate of reaction and rate constant. Generally, rate of reaction is represented by R and rate constant by K. The rate of reaction is nothing but a change in molar concentration of a reactant or a product with time. Whereas the rate constant is the rate of reaction when the molar concentration of reactant is equal to 1 or it is unity. It is represented by K, whereas rate of reaction represented by R. Second difference is rate of reaction R depends on the concentration of the reactant and also on temperature, whereas K, that is rate constant, is independent of the concentration of reactants, but it depends on temperature. Second is the difference between rate law or rate equation and law of mass action, for which we here consider a general reaction which is given by equation as Ma plus Nb gives rise to products. Here A and B are the reactants and M and N are the number of moles of reactants A and B. M, the number of moles of A, and N, number of moles of B. According to law of mass action, rate is proportional to the concentration of A raised to the power M plus the concentration of B raised to the power N, and the overall rate equation for the reaction, above reaction, can be given as R proportional to the concentration of reactant A raised to the power M into concentration of reactant B raised to the power N. And the rate law is obtained from the experimental fact, and it expresses the actual dependence of the rate of reaction on the concentration of the various reacting species. On the other hand, law of mass action states that the rate of chemical reaction is proportional to the concentration of the reacting species raised to the power of their coefficients in chemical equation. Next is molecularity of reaction. Molecularity of reaction is generally defined as the number of molecules or atoms which take part in the reaction, and thus the reaction is said to be unimolecular or bimolecular reaction or trimolecular reaction, etc. If only one molecule is taking part in the reaction to produce the product, then it is unimolecular. If two molecules are there, then it is bimolecular, etc. When 1, 2, or three molecules are involved during the reaction, they are called unimolecular or bimolecular or trimolecular. Moreover, the molecularity of reaction is always an integral number, while the order of reaction may be fractional. Molecularity of reaction is always either 1 or 2 or 3, etc., whereas order of reaction may be of 0 order, first order, second order, like that, or it may be a half or any fraction. Now, the difference between order of reaction and molecularity of the reaction. First difference is order of reaction is the sum of concentration terms on which rate of reaction actually depends, or it is the sum of the exponents of the concentrations in the rate law equation. And molecularity can be defined as, in simple reactions, it is the sum of number of molecules of the reactants present in a balanced equation. In complex reactions, it is the number of molecules involved in slowest step. In a complex reaction, the reaction may be taking place or it will be completed in different steps. So all steps are not important, only the slowest step is important, in which we can determine the rate of reaction, and for that step only we can find the molecularity by summing up the number of molecules involved in the slowest step. Second difference is a rate of reaction need not be a whole number. As I told you just now, it may be a fraction or a zero. And molecularity of reaction is always an integer like 1, 2, 3, etc. Third is rate of reaction can be calculated, although it can be determined experimentally. Whereas molecularity can be calculated simply by adding the number of molecules which are taking part in reaction in the step which is called slowest step, or which is also called as rate determining step. And the fourth one is rate of reaction for an overall reaction, and no separate steps are to be obtained. While we calculate the rate of reaction experimentally or theoretically, we need only one step. And in complex reaction, the overall molecularity of reaction is insignificant. Why? Because it will be carried out in different steps, and hence we take the slowest step in which we can calculate the molecularity of reaction, and that step only is of significance. Now we will first consider zero order reaction, because we know reactions are of different type when we consider them in chemical kinetics. As it is discussed earlier, the order of reaction may be 0 or any fraction number, or 1, 2, 3, etc. So if the order of reaction is 0, it is called zero order reaction. Means the rate is independent of concentration of the reactant. So a reaction whose rate does not depend on the concentration of reactants is called a zero order reaction. So a zero order reaction is that in which rate of reaction is independent of the concentration of the reactant. For such reactions, the rate of reaction remains uniform throughout the reaction. There will be no change. Now, to calculate the rate of reaction, we need an equation. So how to get that equation? Equation is required to calculate the rate of reaction. For that, let us consider an equation or a chemical equation in which reactant A produces product, and here the concentration of reactant is given by X and change of concentration by dt. So X is the concentration, T is time, and dx and dt are the small changes in concentration and time, or these are called infinitesimally small changes. So here mathematically the rate will be equal to, our rate R will be equal to dx by dt, which is a constant, and constant here is represented by K. Okay, why? Because it is not or it is independent of concentration. Therefore, we have taken it as constant, and it is represented here by K. So dx by dt is nothing but the rate, or how the concentration is changing with respect to time. Now we can send this term to right side. Why? Because we have to integrate, or we use here the calculus in which integration is a part, and here we will integrate the equation. So we have to keep one quantity on one side, the other on the other side. What are the quantities? One is concentration, the other is time. So dx is represent the change in concentration, dt represent change in time. Now integrating the above equation, this is the symbol for integration. Here that equation will become dx, and this will be equal to k into dt. Because k is constant, we can write it outside, and integration is only for t or time. Here for concentration, and this is for time. Now integration will be done under the limits from 0 to t. Okay, means from the beginning, or at the beginning, time will be 0, or time is equal to 0 seconds, and at the end the final time, let it be t. So the integration of time is from 0 to t, whereas for this concentration it may be 0 to C, or the concentration of reactant at the beginning, or in the beginning of the reaction, we can take it as C0, which represent the initial concentration of the reactant. So C0 to C it can be. So here after integration we get this equation. The value of integration of dx will be equal to x. This is the formula actually. So you have to remember few formula of integration, and the right side will be k into t. Why k into t? K is in multiplication and integration of dt is t. So k into t, kt, plus some constant called as constant of integration, I. So the overall equation we get is x is equal to kt plus I, and I stands for constant of integration. Until and unless we find the value of I, we cannot have a proper equation. For that, as I told you just now, in the beginning of the reaction, or at t is equal to 0, the product's concentration is 0. Therefore, we can substitute 0 here to get the value of I, that is constant of integration. Because x is equal to 0, we remain with this, or it is x is equal to kt, and because it is 0, that is time is equal to 0 at the beginning, so k is equal to 0, and we get finally x is equal to kt, and this is the rate equation for zero order. X is equal to kt is called equation for zero order reaction, and according to which amount of substance reacted is directly proportional to time. Now, characteristics of zero order reaction. So you should remember that the equation for zero order rate or zero order rate equation is nothing but concentration is equal to a constant into t, time, where k is called rate constant of zero order. K is rate constant for zero order. In this characteristics, for first let us find the units of zero order rate constant. Okay, for that we have to take the equation which represent or which can be used to determine the order of zero order reaction. X, that is concentration, is equal to k into t. We want to calculate find the units of k. Therefore, you can send this to one side, and on the other side we will be having x by t. X is nothing but the concentration, and t is time. We know that the units of concentration are moles per liter, and time it can be second. So the units of K are moles per liter per time, or moles per liter per second. What are the units of K? Moles per liter per second. Since concentration term is involved in the unit of K, the numerical value of the rate constant K depends on unit in which concentration is expressed. Half-life period of a zero order reaction. What is half-life period? It is the period in which half of the reactants are converted into product. And half-life period means the time required to convert half of the concentration of reactant into product, or half of the reactant into product, and it is generally called as T half. It is denoted by T half. So the expression for the half-life period can be obtained as follows. Again, we have to take the same equation, x is equal to kt, which is the equation for rate of zero order reaction. Now in this, as I told you just now, T half is the time required to convert the original concentration of reactant to half. Let the original concentration of the reactant is A, then X will be A by 2. And T can be written as T1 by 2 or T half, where A is the initial amount and the T is time, or T half is half time when t is equal to 0, and x is the amount reacted at time t, which is t half. In case of half-life period, let us substitute these values in the equation. X is equal to kt. In place of x, a by 2, because we need half of the original amount or original concentration. K is constant, T can be written as T half, and we want T half. Therefore, K you please send to the other side. You will get T half is equal to A by 2K. A by 2K. Now, equation for K is K is equal to T half into A by 2. We can plot a graph of X, that is concentration, against T, that is time. So a plot of X against T will yield a straight line passing through the origin. In this case, when we plot a graph between concentration and time, or X and T, it will be a straight line, and that straight line will pass through the origin. The slope of this straight line is K. You know how to find the slope of the straight line. It can be either calculated with the help of the angle made by x-axis. If it is the case, then it is tan alpha, tan theta, or otherwise we can find the ratio of difference of y coordinate to difference of x coordinate, that is k is equal to delta y by delta x. It will be called as slope, and the value will give you the value of k. Now few examples of zero order reaction. Generally, these are of two types. First one is photochemical reaction. A photochemical reaction is that reaction which take place in presence of light. Means to start reaction or to complete the reaction, we have to supply light or energy in the form of light or photons. The reactants or molecules of reactant will absorb light in the form of photons and will be converted into product. For example, a reaction in which hydrogen and chlorine combine in presence of light to form HCl. H2 plus Cl2 gives rise to 2HCl. This reaction takes place in presence of light. So it is a photochemical reaction, or it is an example of photochemical reaction. However, note the above reaction is of zero order only when HCl formed is removed spontaneously by dissolving in water. If it is not removed, then it may not be a zero order. Means the above reaction is between hydrogen and chlorine to form hydrogen chloride is called a zero order reaction, or it follows zero order if the product HCl is removed as soon as it is formed by dissolving HCl into water. Otherwise, it will not be zero order, or it will not follow zero order. So concentration of reactants H2 and Cl2 change with the time, as a result of which the rate of reaction will not remain constant, and hence the reaction will not conform to zero order if HCl is not removed spontaneously from the reacting chamber. So it is important to take out HCl form. Second type of zero order reactions are heterogeneous reactions. And heterogeneous reaction is one in which reactants, products, and the catalyst, if it is used, are present in different phases. Means they are present in different physical forms. If one is gas, the other may be liquid, and the other may be solid. So this is called heterogeneous reaction. So in a heterogeneous reaction, the physical forms or physical states of reactant, product, and catalyst will not be same. They are different. Some of these reactions have been found to be zero order. Two well-known examples are, first, the decomposition of hydrogen iodide on the surface of gold. hydrogen iodide is a gas, and its decomposition on the surface of gold is a heterogeneous reaction. Why? Hi molecules will get absorbed on the surface of gold. Hi is gas and the surface is of solid. Therefore, it is again heterogeneous. So, it is an example which follow zero order. The second one is the decomposition of ammonia on the surface of tungsten. Here, tungsten is used as catalyst on whose surface first ammonia molecules will get absorbed and they will then decompose into nitrogen and hydrogen. We are the actual constituents reactants of to form ammonia. So this is again heterogeneous reaction or example of heterogeneous reaction which also follow zero order, or it is a zero order reaction. One more is decomposition of N2O on hot platinum surface. Again the similar situation. Platinum is a solid and it is a gas. First these molecules or molecules of N2O will get absorbed on the surface of platinum, then they will decompose into nitrogen and oxygen. The valence equation for this can be written as 2N2O gives rise to 2N2 plus O2. So whatever it may be, but the physical states are different. Platinum is solid, this is a gas, therefore it is heterogeneous reaction and it follows zero order, or it is a zero order reaction also. Now this is the diagram or graph from which we can find the slope of the straight line which is passing through origin and whose slope will give you the value of K, or the rate constant for zero order reaction can be calculated by the slope of the straight line, which is nothing but the plot or graph which we get from by plotting concentration versus time. Second one is first order reaction. First order reaction is a reaction whose rate is determined by the change of one concentration term, only one concentration term, are known as first order reaction. Means the rate of reaction depends only on one reactant. Such type of reactions can be represented as follows. There are two different ways to express or to write a general equation for first order reaction. It may be either A forming product or A and B forming product, but one of the reactant is taken in excess. Either A is in excess or B is in excess. Here B is taken in excess. Then what happens here? Because we need change in concentration of reactants. But when one of the reactant B has taken in excess, means its concentration will not alter much. For example, hydrolysis. In hydrolysis reaction, we can take water in bulk quantity. Therefore, the concentration of water will not alter the rate of reaction. Only the other reactants concentration will change with time. Therefore, the general reactions to represent first order can be either A produces product or A plus B gives rise to product, but B is in excess. So we need one concentration term only one term, not both. Therefore, the other one is taken in excess. So in both the cases, in both the above cases, the rate of the reaction can be given as rate is equal to change in concentration by change in time, or change in concentration of reactant with time. Here dx means very small change in concentration, dt means very small change in time. So dx by dt is called rate of the first order reaction. Now when we take A is reactant. You know that the concentration of A decreases with time. Therefore, we represent it with negative sign. Our negative sign is used here to represent that the concentration of reactant A is decreasing. Or it can also be written as K, that is the constant, into concentration of A. Therefore, minus dA by dt is equal to Ka. So the rate of the reaction is equal to dx by dt, or K into concentration of A. The above change is infinitesimally small. Whether we use dx or dt, they are bringing up very small change called as infinitesimally small change in concentration and time. But it is difficult to determine the value of K, the rate constant. However, the value of K, that is the rate constant, can be determined by using integral calculus, that is by integrating the above equation. For that, let us consider the initial concentration of A as C0. C represent concentration of the reactant. C0 means initial concentration of the reactant, and here we are taking A as reactant. Why? Because B is taken in excess if there are two reactants. And after a time t seconds, the concentration be C, concentration of A, the reactant be C. So we know that minus dC by dt is equal to Kc, or here we can send same terms to one side because C is concentration, so we can send this to the side. It is dC by C is equal to K dt. Now on integration, we get here dC by C. The integration of this is ln C. Again, it is a formula. What is the formula? Integration of dC by C is equal to ln C. This minus sign is due to this. And in general, ln x by x is, sorry, dx by x is ln x. Therefore, we can write dC by C as equal to minus ln C plus a constant which is called constant of integration. Now, to find the value of constant of integration, we can use t as equal to 0. We can substitute t as equal to 0, and at t is equal to 0, the concentration of reactant is equal to C0. It is the initial concentration of the reactant. So minus ln C, it becomes equal to 0. Minus ln C plus constant is equal to 0. Why? Because K into T or K into 0 is equal to 0. And ln C will be equal to constant. So the value of constant or constant of integration is ln C. Now substitute that here. Therefore, the above equation, in which Kt is equal to minus ln C plus constant, will become Kt is equal to ln C0 minus ln C. Ln means natural logarithm, or Kt is equal to ln C0 by C. So this equation is called first order equation or equation for first order. Means we can determine the rate using this equation for first order. Now, the actual equation is, or the original equation is, kt is equal to ln c0 by c, where k is constant, rate constant is time, ln means natural logarithm, c0 is the initial concentration of the reactant, c is the concentration at a particular time t. Now, you should remember that natural logarithm is always equal to 2.303 log. Okay. Therefore, kt will become equal to 2.303 log c0 by c. Again, this is log means logarithm of base 10, and c0 is initial concentration and c is concentration at a particular time t of reactant, and k is rate constant. Now you can have the equation for rate constant k as, when we send this t to the right side, it becomes k is equal to 2.303 by t log c0 by c, and using this equation we can find the rate, and it will be constant. It will be equal to a particular constant called as first order reaction constant. Okay, constant for first order reaction. Now, when we substitute C0 as initial concentration of A at T is equal to 0, and C as concentration of A at T is equal to T seconds, and K as rate constant for the first order reaction, that equation will give you the value for K. Now, the characteristics of first order reaction. First, let us consider the units of the rate constant K. Now, K is equal to 2.303 by T log C0 by C. Here, C0 by C, whatever be the values of C0, but both represent concentration. Concentration in the beginning or initial concentration, and concentration at a particular time. So, the units will get cancelled. Moles per liter is the unit of concentration. When we write moles per liter here and here, they will get cancelled, and we will remain with the units of T. Therefore, the units of K will be 1 by T, or 1 by time, means time inverse. If it is second, then it will be second inverse or per second. Therefore, the units of K are per second for the rate constant of first order reaction, or first order rate constant. How it will come? In this equation, which is K is equal to 2.303 by T log C0 by C, the fraction C0 by C is the ratio of two concentration. The value of velocity constant or rate constant is independent of the actual concentration units used. Why? Because moles per liter will get cancelled. The velocity constant, therefore, has the units as 1 by time. Okay, and it can be expressed as per second, because second is the unit of time. Okay, therefore, finally, unit of K, that is rate constant, is per second for first order reaction. Second is half-life period for first order reaction. Again, we have to take the original equation, which is nothing but K is equal to 2.303 by T log C0 by C. It is the equation which gives you the value for K for first order reaction. Now, this can be used to calculate the time taken for any given proportion of the reactant to disappear. In general, half-life period of a reaction. What is half-life period of reaction? As I told you earlier, it is the time required to convert half of the reactants into product. So it is the time required to convert the concentration C0, that is initial concentration of the reactants, to half of it, means C0 by 2. Why? Because C0 is the initial concentration. So time required to convert it into C0 by 2. Thus, by substituting the value C0 by 2 in place of C in equation, we get K is equal to 2.303 by T log C0 by C. This is called T half. Why? Because it is half-life period. Therefore, we can substitute T half here, C0 by 2 here in place of C. So we get T half as equal to 2.303 by K log C0 by C0 by 2. Here C0 gets cancelled and we will remain with log 1 by 2. And when we invert the fraction, we get log 2. Therefore, is T half is equal to 2.303 by K log 2. When we substitute the value of log 2, we get final, and we multiply with 2.303, we get T half as equal to 0.693 by K, or K is equal to 0.693 by T half. So T half can be calculated if the value of K is known to us, and K can be determined by this equation. K is equal to 2.303 by T log C0 by C. For practical purpose, this we can take C0 as A, and half means any amount which is half, A by 2, or if it is A minus X, like that. And we can calculate the value of K and substitute that value here, we get the value of T half. Now, the half-life period of a first order reaction is independent of initial concentration. Half-life period is independent of the initial concentration taken. For example, 50% of the given quantity of radium disintegrates in 16-20 years, whatever be the initial amount of radium taken. Whatever amount of radium is taken, in 16-20 years, half of it will disintegrate. For example, if today we have 1 gram of radium, then after 1620 years, it will be only half gram. Why? Because half of it will disintegrate. So the T half, or half-life period of radium, is 16-20 years. Now, evaluation of K. The first order rate constant can be evaluated by two methods, either by theoretical, means after doing practical, we can do some calculations and we can calculate the value of K. Always the K will constant, or we will get same values. How to calculate that? To calculate this, we need to do some experiment, and we have to calculate the concentration of the reactants, which is converted into the product, or the initial concentration of the reactant and concentration of the same reactant at a particular time. For example, A is the initial concentration of reactant and X is the concentration of reactant which is reacted, or it is converted into product. Then the remaining concentration will be A minus X. Therefore, we can calculate K as 2.303 by T log A by A minus X. Therefore, we can use this equation, and for each value of X, we can calculate the value of K, and then we can find K as constant. The other way or method is by graphical method. Since the initial concentration with which reaction is started is known by determining the concentration of the reactants at different time intervals, K can be easily calculated by putting these values in this equation, and then we will plot the graph. And the graph will be for concentration, the concentration values of concentration we can take on y-axis and time on x-axis. Here, this will be taken on y-axis and t on x-axis. So the graph will be a straight line, okay? And the slope of that straight line will give you the value of K. Thus, from the slope of the value of K, we can calculate it. Few examples of first order reaction are the reactions which follow first order kinetics. For example, we have taken decomposition of H2O2, that is hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide decomposes to water and oxygen, and it follows the first order kinetics. So the rate depends only on the concentration of H2O2. Similarly, decomposition of N2O5, the rate equation is K into concentration of N2O5. Therefore, we say that the decomposition follow first order kinetics. Why? Because the rate equation has only one term for concentration, or its concentration depends only on N2O5. And one more example is conversion of cyclopropane to propene. Similarly, there can be many such examples like conversion of ammonium nitrate into its constituent. Similarly, we can have any other example or a process chemical reaction in which rate of reaction depends on only one reactant. It is called first order reaction, or the reaction follows first order kinetics. And the graph, from the slope of this straight line, we can find the value of the K, that is constant, rate constant for first order reaction. For today, let us stop here. Few more topics we will discuss in the next class. Please watch in continuation. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.